Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this week, and it makes sense if you were probably, like, dying.
Sure.
But how do you feel about Phil's prediction?
Oh, Mr.
Our
Phil.
Oracle.
Our Oracle, Puxatawny Phil. Listen, I saw a lot of slander on Twitter this week.
I think it's deserved.
Yeah, and honestly, listen, I'm pretty neutral about Puxatawny Phil. I gotta be real. I'm not super pro. I'm not super anti. However, I saw a lot of shit talking, being like, oh, did you know him and his fucking family only have a success rate of like 39% over the history of they've been doing this? And I was like, damn, it's not great. It's not great.
It's not good.
It's not a good rate.
Especially when you have two options.
Right.
You would hope it'd be a little bit closer to 50-50.
Sure, you would think, yeah.
And I trust oracles. I think that it's very...
Sure.
It's not surprising.
It's a respected position, yeah.
Right, that we would have one form of divination across our country when everything else is being demonized.
Right.
But you gotta be better than that.
Right. Like, put a little juice into it. It's like, oh, early spring? Yeah, bud, go outside. Global warming is here, baby. Like, what are you talking about? It's been like 50 degrees for months, and it's scary.
Literally.
So
I've had my window open this week.
Yeah.
It's been, like, balmy.
I've had the fan on several times.
Fuck.
So, like, what's up, man?
Yeah, and it's February, which, like, for us, this is when we get surprise snow. Like, This is the reminder that it's winter. So, Phil, you should just say early spring from now on. Like, you'll be correct.
Right, yeah, the odds are almost always in your favor on that one, bud.
But 39, bud?
Yeah. Not looking too great, man. It's not a great,
You're scary and bad?
Right.
No. You gotta choose. You gotta either be good at your job and scary.
Right.
Or not scary.
Yeah, pick a struggle. Are you going to be the personality hire or not? Like,
literally.
I did see tweets though from people who are like sports fans, and they're like, well, in baseball, even an ROI like that will get you like a multi-million-dollar career. So honestly, fucking slay. And I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
Fair enough.
Well,
okay.
They're not wrong.
Right.
But Phil, I mean, there's a lot of other options when you're hitting.
Sure.
Other than hit or no hit.
Right.
Like on paper, no. But there are multiple options.
Sure, yeah. There's more variables.
I would respect his ROI a little bit more if he was also a baseball player in the off season of his Oracle duties.
That'd be right. Because like, what's his job after this? You know what I mean? Like, not to say you have to be tied to labor, right? However, if your one thing is being the guy to tell us whether it's winter or spring, and you got one day, you got 1 day, you have 10 minutes, right? That's your time to work.
Literally.
That's when you're putting in work on the clock, right? And you're like, oh, shadow or no shadow? Am I scared or not scared? And that's it? What do you do after that?
It's just embarrassing because Santa has also 1 day to perform.
Sure.
And he does it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's also, in most interpretations, not scary.
Right.
Puxatawny Phil, bad at job and scary.
Right.
So what do? Get it back. Stop. Yeah. This is why people are hating on divination.
Sure.
Be better.
Giving it a bad name, for sure.
It just, I don't like it. It scares me, and I don't like the idea that someone could get rabies. Like, I don't,
Right. I'm surprised that more people have not gotten rabies from this.
From his family, his lineage?
From his lineage. Yeah.
That's the percentage I want to know.
Yeah, for real.
Welcome to Into Twilight. Hello.
Hey.
Where we talk about other kinds of cryptids.
Yeah.
For those of you who have shared this with your friends and family, just a reminder. Oh, my cat producer is screaming. She's like, get to the log line. We talk about things that are mostly vampires and adjacent and are gay. Those are our 2 jobs here.
Welcome.
So, hello. We're glad that you're here. Take a seat.
Hey.
We have important things to discuss today.
We brought the council together to talk about some really important things. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm alive, which is great.
Good.
I have been under the illness, TM, for the last few days. I'm on the other side. I am double fisting ginger ale and green tea, so I think both of those I'm just gonna waterboard the sickness out of me, you know what I mean?
Right,
just really,
with the sickness. Yeah.
Right, just really showing what's up. I want to talk about receipts, screenshots, timelines, fucking everything, okay?
I'm welcome.
I need to talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. All right.
Okay, I'm here. I'm seated. Let's go.
I know you were on your housewife journey.
Yeah, I'm still on Atlanta.
Okay, so you've not dabbled.
But I do know, I haven't gotten to Salt Lake City, however.
Yes.
They were on the cousins, Heather and her cousin,
yes.
were on Ultimate Girls Trip.
Okay, so you are familiar with two of the squad. Okay.
Well, and obviously Jen Shaw, right?
Right,
but like,
okay, yeah, rip. Well, yeah, right, yes.
Before this season. And so during Ultimate Girls Trip, Heather had just found out through the news that Jen Shaw went to prison.
Okay. Beautiful. I love this.
And they were talking about the black eye. So I know a little bit,
yes,
but I'll know more, obviously, when I start to get into their show.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. Incredible context. So when Nicole and I started going on our housewives journey, we've been kind of like bopping around. We've not been doing like a conventional chronological order, because like there's some that we have like seen growing up, and it's like we're not going to go through like 15 seasons right now, right? And so we've just been like bopping around, seeing what's going on, right? And so we started Salt Lake City like years ago, and we were bored out of our fucking minds. We could not get into it, and we were like, are we missing something? I don't understand what's happening.
And then, that's embarrassing, because it's the newest one.
Right. So we were like, what are we missing, right? And so we took a break. We took a pause. We just were like, let's not go back to it for a while. And then people started talking about this most recent season, more so than I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's been everywhere. It's been all over my timeline. And I'm like, do we need to just like jump back in while it's still hot, right? Do we need to like whatever? And so we did a little unconventional thing, and we started with season 4, which is the one just finished.
They're all self-referential.
Right. It's fine. Like, whatever. We have a general gist of everything that's going on. It's fine. When I tell you this is one of the most important seasons of television I've ever witnessed. It is a Greek tragedy. There's highs and lows. It is like an epic play. There is so much going on here.
That should be the standard for Real Housewives.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't feel like a soap opera, then it's not worth watching.
Right. And the gag is, this is kind of a spoiler, but like this is kind of a thing that is like undercutting the entire season, so it's fine. The gag is, the newest person that is in this season is a mole, is a whistleblower, because she runs previously ran or was part of a shady Instagram account about all of these women, and has like folded herself into the friend group until they find out that is what the situation is at like the end, and it becomes this explosive, like this is Succession Twitter level of like,
right.
I have not felt something closer to that than when this finale was airing, and we had like caught up by that point because we were in a coma watching the last like the entire season in like a week or whatever.
I know that I have altered my algorithm so it knows to feed me Real Housewives content.
Yeah.
But I was seeing it across every platform that people were talking about this finale. Like it changed lives.
It's like, it's the Last Supper of, this is like, there's like, it is beautiful. And so that season's very good.
I can't wait until I start watching it so that all of the pieces from not just this finale, but also Miss Walmart Parking Lot stream on Jen Shaw, which I have seen.
Yes.
To like all click together, because I feel like, and Ultimate Girls Trip, because I know I'm from there.
Right.
So it's like I've got little bits and pieces, but I'm excited for it to all really click.
Yeah.
It is critical.
So this is occupying all of my brain right now, and I'm loving it. How are you, my dude?
I'm also alive.
Lovely. Love to hear that.
It's just, and I'm going to take it as a win.
Yeah.
The happy thing that I'm bringing today, I'm going to channel my Dawn Draper for.
Okay. Yeah, I see the whiteboard. I see the vision.
And it just says Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Question mark. I think I talked very long last week about how much I don't like Paramount Plus. And
sure.
why.
Yeah.
That still stands.
Right.
That's still how I feel until they prove different.
Mm-hmm.
I am bringing an advertisement from Paramount Plus this week. That's my happy thing.
Okay. All right.
And Super Bowl ads are some of my favorite things. Just because if they're going to exist and the process cannot be changed by me, then I'm going to enjoy the good ones.
Sure.
What I was not expecting when I saw this ad come across on my TikTok feed was the Avengers of Paramount Plus's world that they have gathered.
Yeah.
Specifically, Patrick Stewart.
Right.
Love of my life.
Yeah.
Just manhandling Arnold from Hey Arnold.
Right. He's just a boy. He's just a kid.
He's just a baby.
Yeah.
Just because his head looks different. I wasn't expecting to see Jeff, but I'm very glad that he was there. What shocked me personally, and I think was like, I know that a millennial pitched this ad because of all of the interests that are represented.
Yeah.
There's Creed. There's a lot of Creed.
There's a lot of Creed going on.
And I don't hate it.
I mean, the song does bang. I can't deny it.
What sent me over the edge personally was Patrick Stewart having a back tattoo, specifically like what we refer to as a tramp stamp in our vernacular of Creed.
Right.
In this commercial. That was really powerful to me.
Yeah.
And I think that if it hit this hard when I am sober and not also like have a stomach full of nacho cheese or whatever the fuck people eat during the Super Bowl,
sure,
then I would imagine it is going to be amazing when those conditions are true for people.
There's so much going on here. It does make me scared of how one thing owns so many of those things, but it's
terrifying.
But it is fun to see them sing and dance a little bit, even if it is just objectively terrifying.
I have a movie to bring to you for our current events this week, friends.
Let's go.
It is related to our content. It's about vampires.
Right.
And it came across our Twitter feed nonetheless, so they know that we're looking for vampire content. The movie in question that is coming out this year is Abigail.
Okay.
It is supposedly about vampires. Right. A ballerina vampire, nonetheless.
Right. Crucially, famously.
So, interesting. My interest is piqued. And then there's the cast. Though it is worth spending a moment on.
Yes.
Because this feels like the movies are back. You know what I mean? Like, this feels like a really cheap movie, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
The cast, however, there's a lot going on. There's Catherine Newton. Love her. Thank you.
Miss Detective Pikachu herself.
I love to see folks who were on Supernatural really, like, get going and doing amazing things. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
What I was not expecting when I went onto the IMDb to look at the cast is Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
I'm scared about that. And then, like, that in itself, weird that they're going to be paired in there. There's Giancarlo Esposito, who I know from The Mandalorian.
Yes, sure.
Notably typecast as, like, a bad guy, and I love that for him because he's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Angus Cloud.
Yeah.
Is in this movie. The last film that he was in. Hello? I'm curious now. I might need to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito has such a... Like, him in Breaking Bad is so scary. Like, he has such a powerful presence in every room that he's in.
I will also say the other person I noted here on this Abigail cast is Melissa Barrera, who I think is, like, actively trying to be black. Well, she's not trying, but, like, people are actively trying to blacklist her right now.
Oh, right. Yes.
So I do think I am going to need to see this movie to support her, if nothing else.
Absolutely. We love a vampire / ballerina vampire situation.
I don't need more than vampire to talk about something on the show, but a ballerina vampire.
Yeah.
What?
Now I'm even more interested.
Now you have my attention. Tell me everything. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Love that.
I don't know about you, but I desperately needed the recap this week to remind me what happened last episode.
Yeah.
Episode 17. So thank you, as always, for those previously ons. I'm immensely grateful. Because I forgot that, I mean, everything, first of all. But, like,
right.
I forgot that Stefan was going feral, which is a titular part of this episode.
That is very a component, yep.
And Vicky.
Yeah.
So, that's what you missed last week. Season 1, episode 17. They found Vicky, rip.
Right. And
Stefan went a little bit feral. Elena got the ick. And that continues this week.
Right. The ick is present.
Both, the ick and Stefan. Just having a really tough time. But saying that he's totally fine.
Yeah.
How did this episode do you? Did you feel like everyone was under control?
No. The exact opposite. Because the whole thing is Stefan's like, I'm so good. I'm so cool. I'm so able to quench my thirst and control myself. Mm-hmm. That is not the case.
Absolutely not. Nope.
He is like, hey, you know what's actually really cool? What if I just got super into alcohol instead? That would be so good. That's better for me.
Right.
And everyone around me. Sure. And it makes everyone feel really good. And that I'm so in control of myself. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, God. I wasn't sure last week when we talked about this if the Stefan and his blood thing was going to be portrayed very similarly to alcoholism.
Right.
If that feels like the case this episode,
mm-hmm.
if only because it's mentioned really early on with Stefan and Damon when Stefan's doing like pull-ups on the frame of the house or something.
Right.
That he has like a backstory. He has like a moral reason why he doesn't drink human blood, which we knew. But there's apparently a story of why. And he never has told Damon what that is.
Right.
And we also don't know.
Right.
But I feel like it's just pretty obvious that he was like, oh, I had this problem before.
Right.
And I can make this work.
I don't really need like lore for this. I think I got it, you know. Look, I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
We've seen it with other vampires. It's like, you can survive this way, and I have less on my conscience of killing people. Got it. Great. That's all I needed.
Right. Perfect.
But apparently, it's not just Stefan has control issues. It's like they are portraying it very similarly to someone with an addiction.
Yeah, here. Quite directly.
Which is tough for him. However, I will say I enjoyed Paul and his acting a lot more this episode than I have in a really long time.
Believe it or not, he was acting this episode, which was surprising to me. And he actually did a pretty decent job. Color me surprised.
For real. There's not enough that's happened with Stefan yet where, like, I feel bad this episode. I should as an audience member, but I don't. Right. What I enjoyed the most was seeing Paul get to act wasted.
Yeah.
This episode.
He's like, I need to play Paramore right now, okay?
I need to play 1901.
Right.
And I need to play Katy Perry's cover of Use Your Love by The Outfield.
God, that one is so good. That one, I forget how much that song bangs. God.
As someone who is like a known The Outfield fan, I did not... I was not expecting one, Katy Perry, because you need the licensing for that.
Right.
And also a cover of that.
Yeah. God. Man, remember when Katy Perry was so, like, cool? Like, it's hard to imagine now because there was a time when she was, like, at Warped Tour and doing, like, cool covers of things and, like, the MTV Unplugged and all that shit. God, we were a proper country then.
It was a proper country because I don't know a single queer person who doesn't have a canon event of listening to I Kissed a Girl in some shape or form.
Sure, yeah.
And also, like, Katy Perry, I mean, Teenage Dream still slaps.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, I mean, there was the whole, like, Left Shark thing. Like, she was...
Right.
That was she was everywhere.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
And it just shocks me sometimes when they just play songs from her, because it's like, this isn't Glee, so I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right. What's going on?
I also was not expecting to hear 1901, just because I associate that with a very specific time of high school, which is thematically appropriate for when this came out. Right. But nonetheless.
Yeah, still a jump scare, for sure.
Yep. I never choose to play that song. It's just either on or Spotify decides to play. Like, it'll just happen on its own.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. One of the things I do remember us talking about last week was not knowing where this season was going to go and end up.
Right. I
think that was the perfect time to bring that up, because I feel like my question has been answered this episode.
Yeah. All right, we're figuring it out. We're putting the pieces together.
Of John.
Yeah.
Who I know from Once Upon a Time, which is unfortunate.
Right.
And I look at him and I'm like, you're bad, which is, he's good at it. Right. I'll say that. But there's...
Oh my god, iZombie. Do you remember iZombie?
I could never forget about iZombie.
Wow.
And he was in everything too. Like, he's been in an episode of Charmed. He's been in Grey's. Like,
this guy's in everything.
He's had a very solid career of dabbling in shit, which I love. I hate this man.
Yeah.
Not the actor. I just hate this character. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Not a fan.
But I'm intrigued.
Right.
Because now things are now we have interest. I can see more of where this season is going to end. Mm-hmm. If everyone is like, oh yeah, it's done. Like, Vicky's all good. Everything's great. And then this motherfucker kicks down the door and is like, you didn't expand your range more than 10 miles?
Yeah.
Did you see what's happening to the town next door? Embarrassing.
Yeah.
What I would love to know from you is, did you also immediately clock when John walked in that him and Jenna had a past?
I picked up on the vibe, but I was not sure what the situation was, because it definitely was kind of like a wink wink, like, hello.
Yes.
What's going on here? But
until he just says it.
Right,
like,
until he was like,
eating
we have a literal past. Yes, but there's definitely a little something in that first appearance that was like, okay.
I know that there's nothing illegal, I don't think, about it, but something about them being related by law.
Right.
He's Elena's, I'm going to say, he's Jeremy's dad's brother, his uncle.
Right.
On his paternal side.
Right.
And Jenna is his aunt on his maternal side.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
Right. Yeah. I don't like that. Not a fan of that.
I don't like it.
Yeah. I love too that Jeremy and Elena were like, oh god, this uncle's a piece of shit. I forgot about how much I hate this guy.
This dude.
It's like, damn, okay.
Because there's always one. And so far, their family, even though, I can't speak ill of the dead. We don't have any reason to speak ill of the dead.
Sure.
Of their parents. Has been fairly fine. They seem like they've been like a loving family. And then we get John, who's a piece of shit. And I really appreciate that vibe change.
Right. That representation's important,
It is. It's very important. Especially when... And I should know this because we're talking about like founding families, so they're all rich. Right. I think I just forget sometimes because John comes in, he's like, you can't sell my brother's office. I'm the estate trustee. And it's like, what are these words right now?
Right.
You're in a different tax bracket than I am.
Yeah.
But he knows everything. He would be running the shady Instagram account now.
Right. He would be the whistleblower.
Yes. He gives off a lot of like, oh, this is A.
Yes.
And I like that energy.
Absolutely.
I'm scared about him. I don't like it. But I'm interested from a plot perspective.
Right.
That he like comes in as this like golden child immediately with the founding family. And they're like, oh yeah, all these founding families, we love you. Come ring this bell that probably shouldn't be touched.
Right. This old dusty bell that hasn't been rung in years.
Yeah.
I love too that throughout all of this, Damon is like in his like founders council era. He's like, ooh, everyone loves me now. I'm part of this. I'm on the inside.
Yes.
I'm getting in here. I'm making my moves. Nobody thinks I'm suspicious.
He would be doing a great job on the Traitors.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Because everyone, like Liz, the sheriff, still trusts him.
Right.
Gives hot goss to him. And then John immediately comes in and is like, I clocked you. You're a vampire. I know all about this. And I also know about your history of, like, from when this town was founded.
Right.
And Damon's like, what the fuck?
It's like, I was doing so good. What's going on here?
John comes in like Kate from the Traitors and is like, I've immediately found out everything.
Yeah.
You're bad. And Damon, I will say Ian did a good job this episode because his little quips are what I personally look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
But he is now at least twice on the tops of buildings snapped someone's neck and killed them. And that's a lot, which is not great.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate Damon being like, I know, Stefan, that you're not good. I'm not going to do anything about it because I'm interested in what's going to happen. But I know that you're not fine.
Yeah.
And then also him just being an utter snoop in Elena's bedroom, I appreciated.
Right. Got to get all the info.
Yeah. That happens twice this episode, which I was not expecting. Of people just going into Elena's room and digging for shit.
Yeah. It's like, is she sitting on all the gold here?
And apparently that's true.
Right.
Of the Damon coming in, you know, messing with all her stuff, touching her bras, like being a piece of shit. And then later in the episode with the love of my life, Jeremy, trying to find her diary.
Yeah.
Which usually, like on paper, that reads very Lizzie McGuire, right? But he hasn't been told stuff. I just want to know what Elena... Because that horse picture, Cody, has been distracting me since we started the show.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's terrifying since we don't have any facts that Elena has ridden horses or presumably likes them. It's just in her room.
Right.
But to know that's where she stores her diary
really changes the game. Yeah, it's like, this is no one's going to suspect here in this beautiful horse painting.
This beautiful horse. Which I don't like. I don't like it, but I appreciate nonetheless. I would love to know your thoughts on this Founders Day kickoff event. I don't know what the fuck this party was actually called.
It's like, we did it. We're here.
Yeah. But presumably everyone in town is there except for Caroline.
Right.
Which she is discussed in this episode, but is not here.
Right.
And then Bonnie's not brought up once, and
Listen,
I'm pissed.
I'm about to file a missing persons report. I'm so serious. It's been, I've lost track of how many episodes it's been since we've had a Bonnie appearance, and I'm honestly worried. I'm nervous. I hope she's in fucking witness protection at this point, because what the fuck is going on here?
We have known this in multiple episodes that she is part of a lineage of founding families.
Right.
She was there.
Right.
So why is she not at the party?
I'm so pissed off.
It doesn't... I thought, like, this was going to be the episode where she comes back.
Even just to see, like, can I just get a proof of life check, right?
Right.
Can I just get, like, anything?
If she has a new friend group, good for her.
That's
fine. I would just
fine.
like to know that.
Maybe she's in a new club. Maybe she's got, like, she's doing the school play or something, right? Like, that's fine.
She's gotten really into WoW.
Right.
And has a new group of friends.
Yeah.
But it would just be nice to have that confirmed.
Right. Please and thank you, showrunners of Vampire Diaries.
But instead, we're very similarly to how this season started with all the Founders events, which seems like they have Founders events celebrating the year throughout the year, which I feel like would make it lose a little bit of luster.
Right. At some point, it's like, how many times are you going to do a 150-year celebration, right? It's like, you kind of just got to do the one, right?
You'd think, but also, I know Disney milks that shit at their parks.
True.
So maybe not.
Yeah, maybe there is a secret sauce there.
Yeah, maybe that's what helps get their funding. I don't know. But everyone's there. How did you think this party was gonna go.
I mean, I was a little nervous out the gate because Stefan's losing his goddamn mind. And Elena's like, hey, bud, are you good? He's like, for sure. Totally. So good. I just need to drink a handle of tequila every hour. Otherwise, I'm going to eat everyone in this room. Is that cool with you?
And it's not cool with her.
It's not cool with anyone. Everyone's very uncomfortable about this. And he's like, hey, but I'm, like, so cool now. Like, we can just dance. You don't have to, like, ask me to do stuff. I'm just, like, ready to go because I am drunk as a skunk right now. She's like, I'm not sure if I like this, like, situation that's going on right now. Because you're acting like it's so cool that you're, like, a different person because you're under substances. And that doesn't feel really great for me as your partner, you know? Don't love that. And he's like, don't worry, babe, let me just change the music and compel someone, and then we can really dance and have fun. And it's like, this sucks. This is no good.
And I mean, to be fair, Mrs. Lockwood's music choice sucked.
Right. She was really harshing in the vibes here, so they did have to do what they needed to do. However.
It was for the best.
Right.
It's just Stefan's whole vibe. Because, like, earlier in the episode, he does the titular Edward throw yourself back against the wall.
Right.
Because I can't control myself while kissing you thing.
Yeah.
But it's not good, because that is supposed to be in Twilight anyways, that's when Bella's like, hell yes, let's do this. I'm not scared of you. The problem is that Elena, for the last 2 episodes, thinks Stefan's gross now.
Right. Has been fully getting the ick of his vampireness and is like, ooh, maybe not, actually.
And it's very telling that during this party, she's not spending time with him. Because he's not fun to be around.
Right.
And also isn't the person that she actually likes.
Right.
Embarrassing. Embarrassing, Stefan. You're causing a commotion.
And I love, too, that Damon...
Damon killed someone.
Right, Damon literally kills a guy, but like... But I love, too, that while this is happening, Damon's like, is it just me, or is Stefan finally fun for the first time ever? It's like, Damon, I swear to God. You were so annoying.
Some sibling shenanigans that's happening there, which I appreciate.
Elena's like, I can't fucking trust any of you people. Jesus Christ. Like, you guys are just so deranged.
It is wild to see everyone at this event, because I thought that it was just going to be, like, the founding families and the plus ones. Yeah. But Matt and Kelly show up.
Ba, ba, ba.
And the mayor, who I always forget, is Tyler's dad. I forget that that's a thing. Yeah. He does the whole, like, I want you to come to this party so I can personally apologize for your daughter's death, which I have no idea what happened, but I just want to be, like, do my mayor duties here.
Sure.
But it doesn't seem like Matt's family is a founding family.
Right.
So both of them, Matt and Kelly, just get shwasted in different ways during this party.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, listen, everybody deals with grief differently. But how does this place... Is there just an open bar? Like, is there not even a bartender and people are just grabbing alcohol willy-nilly here?
Yeah, it seems like everyone's just taking shit. Yeah. It's like, okay, go off.
It is unjust that we have an episode without Caroline, without Bonnie, with Tyler. And he has a lot in this episode.
Yeah, Tyler is so present here. It was very shocking. Because I thought we were like, this guy is not really here. This guy's just, like, around.
Yeah.
Didn't think he was going to be important.
He has, like, important stuff. And I will say that I was pleasantly surprised that him and Jer were able to, like, share a doob.
Right. Squash their beef a little bit, yeah. And be like, okay, we're chill. It's fine.
Which I'm grateful for. I don't need them to be friends, but I would rather someone just not bothering Jeremy anymore.
Right.
So that's nice. I appreciated Tyler finally owning up to the fact that he was a douche.
Right.
It would have been better while Vicky was still alive.
Right. Would have appreciated that, but you know what? Say la vie, I guess.
Right. What I wasn't expecting, though, that his way of coping with Vicky's death was like, I'll just make out with another person from your family. And just chill with your mom.
Right. How's that? Isn't that cool? That's a fair trade.
That's a fair trade, right?
Jesus.
I don't... And I wasn't sure why we still had Kelly.
Yeah.
It made sense last episode with Vicky being there. I was like, okay, I get you. I get what's going on. But I do hope, even though the scene was really sad, I do hope that she leaves after this episode when Matt, like, kicks her out.
Right. Like, takes it as a, like, get out of jail free card. Like, just leave.
Right.
Like, do anything else. Go anywhere. This is not a good vibe.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
That's a really sad scene with Matt being like, I do better when you're not around, rather than you just, like, popping in and out inconsistently.
Yeah.
But I think that it is ultimately for the best, because Kelly doesn't want a parent.
Right.
And Matt has been emancipated for a long time here.
Yeah.
But to see that, and, like, I mean, we also get Tyler's getting smacked around by his dad, which I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of, like, bad parents this episode, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. It's fun when they all just coalesce, because they all have been bad for this season, right? In, like, little ways. And then it's like, oh, here's all of it in their ramifications very explicitly. It's like, oof, these poor kids.
That reminds me, too. So we get Jenna this episode.
Right.
And we also get Jenna and Rick. They see each other at this party. Here's the thing about Jenna that effectively puts her in the bad parent corner for me.
Right.
And that's saying a lot.
A space that she's often in, by the way, but yes.
There is a moment at the party when she sees Rick and is like, I haven't seen you in a while. And Rick, so conspicuously, looks over at Elena. And they have this eye contact moment.
Yeah.
And Jenna doesn't clock it at all.
Miss Ma'am.
Jenna.
I'm begging you to be at least a little bit of alert of anything.
That is because without context, right, which Jenna does not have,
right.
That eye contact should have put her on red alert.
Right.
Because if I was her in that situation, I would be like, oh, hey, you're the same history teacher that my nephew has been spending a lot of time with.
Right.
And now you're making eyes at my niece, too. Why are you trying to, like, hang out with them separately? Like, that should have been a red flag for her. But she didn't even notice the eye contact.
Right.
At all.
I'm so exhausted with her, I swear.
It's embarrassing, Jenna. And I want more from you. Just a little bit of observance.
Right.
That'd be great.
And I get it. It's hard. This is not... You did not sign up for this. You had to do this.
No.
But, like, can you just give, like, 5% of a fuck about these minors that are in your control?
There's just no... She's way too trusting, and it stresses me out.
Right.
That she is just like that as a person.
Yeah, it's like, this is fine.
I don't like it, and I don't think it's good. I think this was new for this episode, where we found out that the story of the innocents burned in the church was actually fake.
I think that was the first time. That seemed new to me. It was like, okay, this is like, this whole thing we've been talking about, okay.
And it, like, at least having it be confirmed. Because when we first heard that story, it's like, damn, that's wild.
Right.
And then we found out, like, there was that tomb,
right.
which is all vampires. And they were already that way.
Yeah.
But to now get confirmation from John that, like, they were all... And we had seen Catherine get caught a couple episodes ago. But to see them now, that John's like, oh yeah, well, you know the real story. We were burning vampires.
But
is important.
Yeah.
Context.
It's like, okay. That changes things a little bit.
Where do you think John gets all of his information from?
They're going to be like, where do you think he gets off? This guy's fucking
I mean,
real.
That too. But, like, he supposedly hasn't been back to Mystic Falls in a year or so since his brother died and was at the funeral.
Right.
But he knows, like, minute shit that's happening.
Yeah, like, very intense details.
And so now I need to know, do we have a gossip girl?
Right, yeah.
Going on?
Does he have a little friend that's feeding him information?
Or has he just been, like, Skyping into the council meetings this whole time?
True, yeah. Maybe he's just a concerned citizen And he just, like, shows up to all those, like, virtual meetings and stuff.
Because there was a lot of stuff that he just, like, knows, which naturally scares Damon a lot.
Right.
But logistically, I would like to know how
right.
he got that information.
right. Just as, like, a
level
setting. Would love to know that.
Yes. I would like to know your thoughts on Jer this episode.
God, it makes me so sad.
I hurt for him daily.
Yeah, I don't know how much more of this I can take. You know what I mean? Like,
it is. What I can't figure out now is his endgame. Of if they're actually going to keep him a human or not.
Yeah.
Because regardless of the compulsion that happened a while ago, he knows now.
Yeah.
And he's known for a while.
Right.
But, like, is getting confirmation from Elena that there was stuff that hadn't been told to him, that she also knows, and that they're just, the two of them aren't talking to each other about it.
Right. And that, like, whole conversation about Vicky, right, is so heartbreaking. Because he's like... And Elena, like, lets it slip a little bit, right? Because she's like, yeah, whatever happened? And he's like, what do you mean? Do you think there's, like, something else that happened? And she's like, no, of course, it was an overdose, totally. Like, that's totally what happened. I don't know why I said that. He's like, motherfucker, like, we're siblings. Can we just, like, this person was very important to me, and I know there's some fucky shit going on with you. And, like, can we just talk about this rather than being like, there's something you know and you're just not going to tell me ever? And then she continues to do that.
Around it.
Right.
When they walked around the water.
Yeah.
It was so awkward. And this was intentional. Like, I know that the actors were doing it.
Right.
But there was a very clear elephant in the room of that park in the moment.
Right.
And they were just skirting over it.
I hate it.
Elena talks about this a bit in this episode.
Yeah.
Of, like, why haven't you told him? Like, why aren't you being honest? And she's doing the whole thing of, like, well, it's safer that they don't know. It's a lot for them to take on. But Jeremy has no one. And they mention in this episode that the two of them used to be, like, super close.
Yeah.
And now they're just keeping secrets from each other.
Yep. When they need each other the most. Hate it.
I'm glad she finally told Jared that she's adopted, though.
Yeah, finally.
It wasn't a thing.
Right. It was just like, okay, cool.
But it hurts me that he is having to find out all of this stuff on his own. Right. Elena's also dealing with shit.
Right.
And they could be talking to each other, but they're not.
It would be probably more helpful for both of you if you just had any line of communication right now.
It frustrates me, but I understand why they're doing it from a storyline perspective. It just hurts me. That's all. There were a lot of, like, close calls with death in the party. The least interesting to me was random dude, number one.
Right. Joe Schmo, number one.
Joe Schmo. And when Kelly got hurt.
Yeah.
In the fight.
Right.
I didn't care.
Like, sorry to this mayor. Sorry to this woman.
Literally. Because she didn't deserve it, but it was just a lot of, like, macho shit that was happening in that moment.
Right.
Elena channeled her, like, inner Sammy from Jersey Shore, yelling
literally
at fighting men.
Yeah.
She was like, stop, Ron! Which I hate to see it. But it's wild to me that if the founding families have known about this shit for a really long time, are supposed to be, like, to have some discernment, that they can't clock these bodies that are just lying about in this home. Because for a second, Jeremy was, I'd assume, in the entryway when Damon threw him down.
Right.
Joe Schmo was down bad by his car.
Right.
Does this place not have security? What's happening?
Right. Where are your spidey senses? Where are your just, like, general, literally, like, look around, stop, look, and listen, you know? Like, what happened here?
It stresses me out that they're just so oblivious all the time. But, I mean, good for them, I guess. Maybe they're not as worried as they act like it. They are.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. The what I'm unsure about, and I want to get your thoughts on, is like, now it seems like we have a big bad. Like, John is going to be the one who ends this season.
Right.
What I'm unclear about is Stefan going to get his shit together, or is he going to be, like, out of commission?
Right.
Based on how this episode ends. And are they even going to bring Bonnie back?
Right.
For the end of this?
Are we even going to see her again until season 2? That's a great question.
John mentions all kinds of shit. Like, he knows about Catherine.
Right.
He gave that ring to Isabel.
He's been, like, masterminding all of this.
Yeah.
Which is freaking everyone out naturally. But it's like, hello.
Is he in cahoots with Pearl? Like,
right.
Or is this all a thing of, like, Isabel has been doing this? Like, I'm not sure how they are going to end this season.
Yeah. And also with the whole, because, like, the end of this, right? It's like, Stefan comes home, Damon's chilling with his little glass of blood. It's like, hey, buddy, you're looking really rough, right? You're looking real bad. I'm gonna go take a little snooze and maybe leave this little glass here. You to do whatever you want with it. Wink, wink. And, like, I think because obviously we saw Damon in this very, like, not great spot for a couple weeks, right? Of being like, he was very much in, like, midlife crisis. He was like, I'm going on a bender. And he seems much more well-equipped to handle that state. Obviously it was not great, but now he's kind of, like, leveled out a little bit more.
Yes.
Stefan, I don't think, is capable of doing that. Like, I am not very confident in his ability to, like, do this properly. And
he very much gives the kind of person who's like, I'm going to snap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to talk about any of my feelings.
Right.
And then I'm eventually just going to explode.
Right.
Which is not helpful when, like, Damon has also done this but to a lesser degree because he has less morals. And so he's like, I don't give a fuck what I do. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that the episode ends where Stefan shows up in Elena's room. So I guess 3 people in the room.
Right.
And he's trying to be honest, which I think is that's good growth for him. Of being like, hey, I'm not doing good.
I'm actually really bad right now. I'm having a really bad time.
I'm not doing good. But unfortunately, Elena's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh. Let me take care of you. I'm not scared for sure. It's so fine. No. You are not giving me the ick at all right now.
And she even says, like, I'm not afraid. And it's like, girl, you should be. Because
yeah. You have every reason to be, ma'am.
From, like, an instinctual level. But I've never been more concerned that Stefan is going to kill you than now. Right. Because he is not fully there. Yeah. So maybe you should be a little bit worried, actually. It was very notable that we didn't get any of the, like, rogue vampires this episode. Like, no Pearl, no Anna. Right. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. I'm wondering if this kicks off, like, festivities. Especially since next week's episode is titled Mystic Falls. Mm. What... If there's this, like, big hoorah of people, how the... new, well, I guess they're not new, but, like, new to hear vampires are going to deal with it. Right. But I'm nervous about how this is going to go. Oof. I'm curious, but I swan to John, if we don't get Bonnie back by the end of the season, then what's the point? Yeah, I'm going to make frickin' lose it, y'all. I swear. Watch. I wish you would. How did these... So... Episode 19, I put the preview photo in here. How does that... I also put a bonus one because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Dude, Stefan looks so bad. Like, he looks so rough, too, at the end of this. Like, he's been looking bad, but, like, that last scene where he's just, like, his face is fully just, like, morphing into something else. He's like, hey, bud, are you good? The answer is no, but he looks rough.
And, like, apparently hasn't been going to school and shit. Right. Like, he's hardcore struggling. Yeah. But this photo of him, presumably in what looks like formal wear. Yeah. How about you don't go to another Founders event and cause a scene, Stefan?
Right. How about we just stay home? You know? You got, like, a lot of cool stuff to do in your house. It's a nice big place. You can just chill out. You know?
Yeah, you don't need to go to a pageant.
Right, yeah. Right.
To keep up appearances when it seems like your brother is doing just fine.
Right.
So I'm curious by the fact that Damon and Elena are dancing in this.
Hello.
Where that is going to go.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Since they did have a little bit of eyes this episode, but not as much as it has been in the past.
Mm.
So I'm curious, but also nervous. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Pew, pew. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ow. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Pew, pew. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily Ozera.
Pew, pew, pew.
So I didn't realize until watching this week that last week's fanfiction was a little bit of a spoiler.
Oop.
But that's fine.
Oopsie.
Just because it was talking about Jeremy getting his, reading Elena's journal, and I was like, oh, well, that would probably happen in their life. I didn't know it was going to be, the next episode.
Right.
But this fanfiction for you is by the author Cactus Finch.
Okay.
It is titled, Now My Life is Changing.
All right.
And the summary is, it's pre-canon. Bonnie starts a summer by speaking to a vampire 3 states away by accident. Grams is not amused. Also, Damon makes a friend.
Okay.
So, and I will say, just having looked at these, a lot of people ship Bonnie and Damon, which makes me nervous.
Interesting. Huh.
So I don't understand it. Maybe we will when we get with time, but
sure.
I'm confused.
Yeah, maybe if we saw Bonnie, maybe I could understand it, but
her.
She's been missing for weeks.
God, I'm so stressed out. Okay, this is from, I think, the first chapter. They're not titled.
Groovy.
Damon, Bonnie called out uncertainly. Their 2 earlier conversations had seemed accidental. She bumped into his mind and he started talking to her. I didn't think you were coming back with the whole vampire thing and all. The voice came, whispering directly into her mind. Bonnie gulped, not really sure how to proceed. Yeah, I didn't really think I was going to talk to you again either. What changed your mind? Would anything I say or do ever stop you from killing people? You could kill me. Bonnie nodded to her empty room. I don't think I could. I haven't really gotten a handle on the witchy powers yet. So, you thought about killing me then? Bonnie had no idea how to answer his question. The truth was yes, and she had even updated herself with old Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes. But she knew that she couldn't do it, not in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't expect anything less from a Bennett. Out of context, the words could have been taken as scornful. Even in context, they could have, really. But Bonnie could hear the amusement in Damon's tone, and even a hint of pride, as if this was a test, and her wanting to kill him gave her a passing grade. End scene.
Okay.
So, sometimes you just are in a digital chat room, but in your mind.
Right. Don't it always seem to go?
Seeing as this is a very full tag from what I can assume of Bonnie and Damon, I'm hoping that means Bonnie comes back, but God knows, we're going to have to see, I guess.
Right. God damn.
It's all I want. It's all I've ever
wanted. I'm not asking for much here, you know?
No. Just someone who's been credited in episodes that they didn't appear to actually be there.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Friends, please tell your friends about the show. We have a couple more episodes of season 1, so this is a great time for you to tell people and then to get caught up.
Hell yeah.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.